My life before Coastal Community Action Authority I was in the process of trying to get back into the school setting. I had been out of high school since 1998. So in 2007, I signed up to become a college student at the time it was just a community college here in Brunswick, Georgia. And I wanted to just go to school and better my life and try to get a job. I was a stay-at-home mom for so many years, and I just felt like that was a part of my life I wanted to try to complete.
Every good story has a beginning, and Emily's story begins with a need.
So I needed childcare for my youngest child while I attended college, and as you probably know, childcare is extremely expensive. Just for one child, it was going to be about $100 a week, which I couldn't afford. So I looked into other things and looked at friends and family, but there still wasn't that option available to me, and it's hard to trust people too. So I started looking into other options.
It is at this point in the story that Emily found our Head Start program, which ultimately led to other services offered by Coastal Georgia Community Action.
So as I was looking at other options, I found advertisement about Coastal Georgia Community Action Authority, which provides Head Start program. And I looked into that, and she was 3, and it just turned out that we qualified for the program. And I went in there, and they had a very nice building, nice staff members, very friendly. All I had to do was apply, and they told me right then and there that I qualified.
One of the many services that we offer at Coastal Georgia Area Community Action Authority is our Head Start program. And Head Start falls under our ECE division, our Early Childhood Education division. Head Start services children from the ages of 3 to 5-year-olds. Our Early Head Start program services children from the age of birth to 3-year-old. And we also have a blended model where we share pre-K classrooms with the Georgia Pre-K program. With our Head Start program, it's not just typical daycare. Head Start really services the entire child. And one of the approaches that we take a comprehensive approach to educating the children, not only the children, but the families that are involved in our program.
So Kiera joined the program, and she loved it so much. I mean, she had fun, she made new friends, which at home she fought cats and dogs with her 2 sisters. So she made friends, and that was very important for a little kid to make friends.
And so we're excited about any opportunities to work with families in our community, because I think, in my opinion, our services stands above all, because we take that holistic approach. So we look at a child, not only a child's education, we look at their health, nutritional status, we look at whether they're mentally stable, as far as the family and those things, and we also try to support the families that are within our program.
So another extreme positive was that since I was a college student and Head Start, where the locations are, they're not even a mile down the road from each other, so it was easy access to get back and forth to the schools.
Ms. Reynolds was one of those exceptional parents. She was one of those parents that came into the program and really was very active in everything we had going on. And so she took advantage of the opportunity to actually take that route towards self-sufficiency. While her child was enrolled in our program, she was able to attend college and know that her child was in a safe and healthy environment.
But the teachers were exceptionally nice and friendly, and she just had a blast. So whenever I picked her up, she would tell me about how wonderful her day was, and it made me feel good to know that she was in good hands.
But Emily didn't just accept services. She ultimately wanted to give back.
Emily gave over her time in our program. She was always willing to volunteer, and she served on our policy council.
I wanted to volunteer because I think it's very important for parents to stay involved with their children when they're in school. And I was one of the parents who was continually coming in the classroom, making sure that if they needed any help, that I was available to help, bring in snacks when they needed. So, I could have said no when they asked me to join the council, but I like to stay involved, and I thought it was very important to stay involved as a parent of a child that's in the Head Start program.
And we are very grateful for parents like Emily that not only see this as an education system for her child, but saw it as an avenue for her to grow.
So I was sitting in one of my college classes one day, and we had some guest speakers come from Coastal Georgia Community Action Authority, and they were discussing some of the programs that they offer. And one of the programs they mentioned was the weatherization program, which is designed to help make people's homes more energy efficient. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting considering I had extremely high electric bills that was almost unaffordable. And given the fact that I had such great experience with Head Start, I thought, well, why not check into that?
At Coastal Georgia Community Action, Weatherization Assistance Program provides energy efficient upgrades and repairs, and at the same time tries to focus on health and comfort. We achieve this by increasing insulation values, air sealing exterior windows and doors, and air sealing heating and cooling systems.
So in 2010, I went and made an application, filled out an application for the weatherization program, and I was placed on a waiting list. They did tell me the waiting list was pretty full, so I was going to have to wait for a little while, which was fine with me. So I waited for a little while, and then in early 2011, I was in the process of trying to become the relative placement for 3 of my relatives that were in DFACS custody. So the children were taken into DFACS custody towards the end of 2010, and ever since they were taken into DFACS custody, I had been visiting with them, weekly visits, constantly there. I was the constant person in their life that was constantly continuing the visits. And it was very important to me to keep the family together. I took every necessary step that DFACS wanted me to do in order to get them placed in my home. From everything they asked me, drug screening to making sure my dog was up to date on shots. It was everything they asked me, I jumped and did. The only problem was the sleeping arrangement. And knowing how I was going to sleep 6 children in a 3-bedroom home. And that's when the weatherization program called me and said it was my turn on the waiting list and they were ready to come out to my house.
The first thing that we do when we come to a home is an energy audit. This will determine its deficiencies, where that person is losing the most energy, and where we can be most effective.
So the weatherization, they came out to the home and they put this blower door unit thing in the doorway to kind of see where air was leaking in and out of my home. And then they caulked all those areas. I'm telling you, they went through tubes of caulking to fill all those air gaps, which I am grateful for. They also installed exhaust fans in my bathrooms. They also installed a hood vent above my stove.
During the original energy audit, it was noted that the belly was severely torn and the insulation was very, very low. We were able to repair it and increase that insulation value back to the proper levels. This not only will keep the conditioned air inside of the home longer, but it also helps keep out rodents and pests.
So as they came out to my house and they were doing the, checking around the house to see what needed to be done to make it more energy efficient, we started discussing this one large room that we couldn't really use because it had a window unit that was not very good. It wasn't weather efficient or energy efficient. And so as we were discussing that, they said, well, you know what, we can probably put in something called a mini split unit, which is energy efficient and it allows air and heat. It's almost like it's that room's own air conditioning system. And because they were able to install that, it allowed me to turn that room into 2 bedrooms, which allowed me to, in fact, foster my family.
Seeing somebody struggle month to month, paycheck to paycheck, to be able to try and pay a light bill. And every time that they get that light bill paid, the next one is 1.5 times bigger. Now it gets cut off. Now they're right back in our doors. They're wanting a hand up. That's what weatherization is able to do. Weatherization is able to break that cycle, to give them more stability, to increase their quality of life, to give them a better opportunity next month to put money somewhere else. Sports for their kids, band, or new clothes.
We are happy to be a part of Emily's story and the means to help her and her family.
Community action has changed my life in so many ways. Number one, they have helped keep my family together, which is the number one reason that I thank them every day. The number two reason is they're just, they're wonderful. They treat you like family. And you know, they don't have to, but they do. They're very nice staff, everybody is friendly, and they're working to try to help you, which, you know, makes a person feel good, especially if they don't really know what they're doing. You know, to have the staff say, you know, I'll help you, we'll figure out what we can do to help you. And they've just helped make me, as a parent and as an aunt, self-sufficient, and they've changed my entire life for the better.
And you too can help others like Emily who need just a little help by giving of your time or your finances. And with that, you too can help others have a happier ending to their story. We here at Coastal Georgia Community Action help people
Change lives.
and build families.